Test, test, test. Are we good? I think we're live. Alright, people, it's happening. So, as usual, I gotta do my initial announcements here, so bear with me while I copy paste a link around a little bit and do all that fun stuff. Oh man. One day I'll be good at this. I don't know how other people just pre-generate all this stuff, but they're real good. Cool. I'm saying cool, meanwhile it's just like me doing stuff and no one's even on the stream yet, so I don't know, man. I don't know what I'm doing. Or lady, you know. Whoever's watching. Whoever cares. Someone cares. Hey, hey. We got a link. We're doing it live. Alright, let's get this up on Twitter, let people know what's going on. Alright, so as part of today, I'm going to attempt to do this in 1 hour. My last live stream a few days ago was 2 hours and it was crazy, and yeah, who wants to watch me program for 2 hours? Like, I don't even think I want to do that. So, let's we'll stay away from that. Um, Alright, I think I'm almost done notifying all the people that probably care. Let's see. Big money, no whammies. Do we got one? Oh my god, we got a viewer. Oh, that's probably me. Whoops. Got all excited and it was for nothing. It was for nothing. Alright, well, that's okay. Sometimes you're allowed to get excited over yourself clicking on the link by accident. I think that's a thing. Okay, so yeah, let's get going. We got limited time. Very limited time. 1 hour. Let's build a game. Okay, so here's what we're doing. This is a game. This is all credit to George, creator of hyperapp. We're gonna build a game, and the purpose is you see an analog clock, and you gotta type in the time, and then another clock's gonna come up, and we're probably gonna time it. So you gotta kind of record the time for each clock, and it's going to give you some feedback on whether or not you're right or wrong, and then switch to a new clock, and I don't know, maybe like 10 seconds or 15 seconds per round. I don't know. That seems like a pretty reasonable thing. So yeah, let's. I was just doing a little bit of setup before starting the stream, so we'll see how that goes. Because maybe, just maybe, everything works and nothing bad is gonna happen. Alright, so yarn. Okay, I already ran yarn, but we'll run it again. Yarn start. Let's see what we got going on. Oh, yeah, all sorts of stuff. Okay, and this is probably because I just copied over some config stuff, and we probably don't have a good Babel setup. Well, for one, we're not using. Yeah, we're not doing tests this time around. We're just gonna go lean and mean, and just write some code. Maybe stuff's gonna go. Hey, Dustin. Yeah. So this is gonna be yeah, very similar to a GeoGuessr. So you're just gonna get a clock. There's not gonna be any numbers on it, but you'll be able to make the assumption that's like the correct orientation. So 12 is on the top, 6 is on the bottom, that sort of thing, and you just gotta type in a number. And we're gonna demo a few kind of cool stuff about hyperapp as well, and how you can kind of build more complicated apps at the same time. So hopefully, it'll be fun and educational. Oh my god, I never thought I'd say that sort of stuff. What's happening to me, guys? Let's see. So we're gonna just rip off my debugger presets. Hey, yeah, another. Seems like every last two live streams, I'm just kind of like doing like this like really subtle hint that I wrote a debugger. But that's okay. Every now and then you gotta like just advertise for yourself, you know? If you're not gonna do it, who is? So let's see, we're gonna add this to, yeah, they seem like dev sort of things. Get that going. Yeah, 8-balls are pretty cool. Used to have one way back in the day. Way back. Alright, let's see. Will it start this time? Big money, no whammies. Come on. Oh yeah. Cool. A lot of people that I work with are really confused because I typically just like hand roll my like Babel and like React or hyperapp or whatever sort of setups. Uh, yeah. That's just how I roll. There's probably a nice way to handle this. I suspect at some point, like, this is purely me, but like at some point there's going to be like a Babel preset for hyper, and it's just going to do all the right things. Oh, cool. Yeah, my I feel so bad for you for the last live stream. It was like 2 hours and it was a little painful. So I'm like I'm surprised you even made it halfway. So good job, Justin. That you're you know, you're a good guy. Um oh man, make files. You. I haven't touched a make file since like I don't know, at least 2000. And it was a bad time back then. Uh, the dark days. No, make files are really powerful. I'm actually really surprised that they're making a comeback. But you know, I guess it's the good tools. They usually hang around, and the bad tools kind of slowly subside over time. I think that's how it goes. All right, so we're just gonna build out the most simple index page because we're making a game in limited time, and I'm making no guarantees on the quality or anything else. Um, so you know, we'll see how it goes. Also, I'm gonna be ripping off some SVG code and stuff um, from CodePen. We're gonna do some heavy modifications, but I'll toss the link in the description of the video, I guess, just to attribute. The guy's name is Mohammed. Oh, I don't know how to pronounce this guy's last name. Mohebifar. So I can probably take a stab at that pronunciation, but I'm pretty sure I'll just end up sounding really silly. Uh, which would maybe be amusing for you guys, but not for me, because then I would look like a complete fool. Yeah. So let's get this show on the road. So we got like some config stuff, hitting public. That all looks good. That all looks good. Let's refresh this page. Oh, it's very possible I need to restart this though. All right, so that's up. There we go. Wait for this to load in. Analyze what's going on here. So we're mounting onto document body and checking out my inspector here. And body's empty, even though it looks pretty clear to me that we should be viewing something at this point. Let's see, and everything compiled fine. Let's just do one of these. Yeah, so normally I do like test room development and like I'm a little more strict, but because we're building a game in under an hour, um, I don't know if that's gonna happen. We'll see. I just don't want to make any wild claims that I'm gonna make the best code here. All right, so let's see. So we got our entry in index.js compiling to bundle.js. Oh yes, I guess it would help maybe if we you know, load it in the script. All right, so script source is bundle.js. Also, I had lots of caffeine today, so my voice might be like a little lower than normal. So this is my sexy voice. I'm sorry. That was probably a really bad accent impression, and yeah, I don't know. I'm just sorry. That's all I got. Cool. So it looks like index.js is indeed loading. We have our game, and game.view should be outputting a div with to do. However, I do not see it. Let's just do a refresh just to make sure I'm not crazy. No, definitely don't see it. Why is that? So we've got our a blank initial state and actions and a view. And over here we have game.view, which is being exported here. So let's try a console.log game. Let's make sure that this is all good. We definitely have a view that takes state and actions, so that looks fine. And maybe our state.view is somehow not game, which it should be. In fact, this should just be default. Okay, and so we got that. Still not looking right. Alright, so I'm definitely seeing state.view is game. But even so, we've got default, which is the only option right now. And it should be rendering this guy. Nope. Okay, so we'll move on to option number 2. Sometimes... Oh. Okay, I see our problem. So let's just do root. Sometimes you're in a rush and you just write something silly. Alright, so we're going to mount onto root. So I think what's happening there is the script was executing before the body was actually a thing, so it didn't actually know how to hook onto that properly. Which I believe is going to be fixed in a future version. Yeah, there we go. Because it looks like there's some options. Well, so there's two issues. So one is going directly to body, which might not do the right thing, and then I was doing it before body was loaded. Which in head kind of makes sense. And I don't really want to wrap this in like waiting for DOM to be ready. So I think this is the better solution for right now. So bear with me, and also bear with me while I caffeinate up. Hey Colin, what's going on? Oh yeah, defer as well. You make a good point, but that's what I get for only looking at my chat every few moments. I miss the solution while I write one that's like slightly worse but still works. Cool. So yeah, we're gonna do a few things, which I'm gonna outline as quickly as I can. So one, we're dividing up things into views and components. So a view is going to be obviously a view. I don't know if we'll actually get past one. I'm hoping we'll have like our menu and our game, but that'll depend on how quick I am. But this is generally a decent pattern for hyperapp, and then components are more like the pieces that go in the view, if there's like good reason for there to be pieces. We'll see. We'll see how this plays out. We'll kind of refactor as we go, and yeah, feel free to launch as many questions at me as you want during this, because I'd rather answer more questions than get more code done, because, you know, that's how I roll, I think, most times. Alright, sorry, I'm just rearranging my windows a little bit so I can see the chat a little better for YouTube Live. There we go. Way better. Yep. Okay, cool. That since but now I got some extra windows open. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. That's fine. Um, so I'm just in my own little world. Um, cool. So we got a game, and right now we don't have any initial state or actions or view. But let's think this through. So what does the game look like? So this is what I'm envisioning, and maybe we can think this out. So over here we got like a really terrible ASCII clock. Yeah, something like this. And it's okay. Well, we'll fix that in a second. Cool. So we got like our clock over here, and it's gonna have like some stuff going on. Something like this, and you'll be like typing. So yeah, I think with typing we're gonna actually do that as all of the document body event handler, which is gonna be pretty cool. Oh, yeah, Dustin, why do I export these guys? Well, I export them so in the index I can tag them in here. So typically, if I only had a single view, I may not do this pattern at all, or I might do something like initial state as game initial state, and then so on and so forth from views game. But that kind of sucks. This is a little nicer, and it gives me like kind of clear name spacing. So one thing hyperapp does, if you're not super familiar with this setup, is when I have a state that's in a nested object and a set of actions in that same nested name, then when I call actions for the game actions, it's actually for the state that it passes in, it's going to pass in just the game state. So over here, we'll make a fake action for now, which is going to do nothing, take in our state, and do something. So this state isn't going to be this, it's just going to be this, which is this. Yeah, exactly. It's very much like a stores pattern. So if you're coming from like Redux, yeah, very similar. So each state and set of actions are for the most part completely unaware of each other, which is pretty good. Coffee, coffee, coffee. Okay, so let's see what we got. So we're gonna have to have a clock, and inside the game we're gonna want to know the correct time, which I don't know. We might just do an hour and a minute. So that's going to be our general format, but I think we'll do nulls because zeros are technically valid. And we're going to do guess input, which is going to be an array of inputs that we're going to try and assemble into something meaningful. And then let's see, we want to do I don't want to call this game, but maybe. So there's going to be a better name for this, but we're going to call it history, which is going to do something like correct time is going to have your like our hour, minute, and it's also going to do our guess as a string this time. This could probably actually be a string too. That may or may not make things a little harder. We'll see. And then we want to say correct, which will be a boolean, and so that's going to look like probably something like this, so then we can kind of keep track of that, and maybe we'll give a score as well, and then we'll do some total. Oh, why do I use initial state instead of state? So I do it to make it incredibly clear which set of variables I'm working with. There's been a few times in apps that I want like a reset button which resets the state. So then when you're inside an action, it just passes in or returns the initial state. So I like it so it's very verbose and clear, and there's reasonable use cases in some apps. Like potentially in this game, we're gonna have like an initial state which is like before we've played, and I'll want to be able to reset to that frequently. But it's also like purely something I like. Like it's not very hard to do something like reset and then just return state, because you technically don't have to chain this, right? Like the second is only if you need state or the other wired actions. So there's ways around it. I prefer the create function here, where we bring in the old state 2 9 times out of 10, and that still means that this is pretty verbose. But yeah, it's totally a preference thing. Yeah, yeah. Okay, so let's think through a little bit more of the rules here. So let's say we have I'm gonna say for now 15 seconds. Guess as many times as many clock times as possible. Awarded, I don't know, like 10 points for exact time, and minus 1 point for every minute off. That sounds kind of fair. So potentially if you can go through 10 clocks without any problems, you get 100 points. But if you're like a minute or two off, then you might get like a I don't know, lesser time. So I don't know, 10 points seems maybe a little over the top, maybe under the top, I don't know. They're just points, it doesn't matter. We'll play it by ear. Alright, so as part of this we want some sort of accumulator, and this is going to be the amount of time remaining. So in this case, so we're going to be dealing in terms of milliseconds. So we want 15 seconds times 1,000 milliseconds, which I know I could just add the number here, but I do like the verbosity in terms of secondary numbers there. In fact, we could do something like this, and that makes our code nice and clear-ish. I don't know, MS might be still a little vague, but opinions, everyone's got them. Alright, and there's a bit of a reason that I'm doing this too. So, one thing that George had mentioned and that I'm totally on board is being able to demonstrate using the interpolated interop, I guess, is just is it interpolated? No, it's just interop with JS. So basically we get a returned set of wired actions that we can call and influence the app from outside sources. So we're probably going to set up a game loop and then use the interop from there, which would be kind of cool. Yeah, so let's see. Where do we got to go? Okay, so I guess let's build out what this clock looks like. So pardon me while I'm kind of in between a few windows here to make this look reasonably correct. So we can have a wrapping div for now. We may not keep that, we'll see. But we're going to have an SVG that's a width of, I don't know, let's do like 400, height of 400. Would be nice to do a full screen. I think there's a little bit of trickery with SVGs that we have to do, but totally doesn't really matter. We can just center this. Cool, and we're gonna want like, I don't know, a circle of some sort, which is gonna look like this. And we're gonna give it a, I think there's CX. Put this at the middle, and CY. And a radius. I can't remember if it's radius or R. No, it looks like it's just R. And radius of 200, so this is as big as it gets. Nice and cool. And we're going to do some style on this. And the style is going to probably be something like stroke. This will be black. And stroke width is going to be like, I don't know, like 5 pixels. I'm just kind of like taking a wild guess. And we want like a fill color of white. And what else do we want? Maybe that's it. That seems like the majority stuff that we're interested in. Cool, so let's save that. And maybe, just maybe, we've got a big white circle that conveniently doesn't have a fill. Why is that? Am I not allowed to do both, maybe? Okay, well, you know, we can fix this too. So what if we, wait, so my stroke color. So stroke should just be the outside line and fill should be the fill. So let's just double check that this is actually true and that I'm not crazy. So stroke is black, stroke width, and apparently fill. Okay, it's not fill color, it's just fill. Okay, so sometimes sometimes I can't I can't code. Like, I swear I do this for a job, but sometimes it's apparent that like maybe there's better people than me. That's okay. It's okay to have people better than you. That way you can learn. If there's no one better than you, then like, I don't know, life gets pretty boring. Okay, and we want to yeah, have some like reasonably sane notches. Right? Like that seems like the right sort of thing. So maybe we can do let's see, so it's probably like the 4 notches, the 4 big ones. And there's going to be a really easy way to do this, and hopefully I can pull this off. So we're just going to do this. This is like totally not the good way to do this, so I'm sorry. Actually, you know what? Let's we'll number these because that's better than nulls. 0, 1, 2, 3, and then I don't know. We'll just call this IDX because that's nice and generic. Generic names aren't good, by the way, at least in my opinion. Also, I have lots of opinions. Sometimes they're good, not all the time. So you know, don't take my word as gold. I'm just a guy, just a guy. Okay, and here we want some sort of a line. And we want it to go from, I don't know. Let's see. Well, so we have this, and we know our general angles, and we could do some sine cosine math, which I am quite rusty on, but we can do it. Okay, it's happening. We're doing math. Also, something I didn't think I would ever say when I was in high school, way back in the day, is I'd be telling people that we're doing math. Okay, so we want yeah, we wanna do 2 points. Although, okay, so I am using like someone else's code, and they were able to build all these lines automatically, and I'm really curious how they did it. I'm actually really curious what's going on here. So it looks like he's doing like some transforms, which sound pretty cool. But okay, what's going on here? So that's the hour hand. So if I remove that, oh, throw the hands. Where are the notches coming from? I'm so confused. Man, this guy did something really funky, and I'm just like, I'm way behind the times. Okay, he's got like a loop somewhere that he's creating them. Okay, so I wasn't crazy. He's using magic. I knew it. Yep. Okay. Well, if that's the case, then maybe I'll use magic too, because life. All right. So, and how many ticks? So he's doing like 12. Sure. That seems reasonable. So let's see. What's the easiest way to do 12? Okay. So this is a filthy hack. I'm really sorry, but we're going there. Repeat 12, split on empty, map it, and then we're gonna get like a thing we don't care about, so we'll use the good old underscore and IDX. And then we're gonna have a line with x1, which is going to be 200, and if I could type, and y1, which is going to be so these are numbers that this guy has, and I know that they're going to be wrong, but we will fix them once I have a better idea what's going on with them. Alright, so we got x2, y2, and then we also want to do a transform, which is going to be rotate. And then we're going to, okay, we gotta shell this out to a backtick string or a template string. I like to just kind of make up terms for things. That's you know, that's the way to go sometimes in programming. You can look really smart if no one knows what no one knows what you're talking about. Don't take my advice. It's not good advice. All right, so cool. 360 divided by 12. Oh, and then those don't actually need to be in brackets. And this guy's got like, I'm guessing that's the origin points. Hey, cool, let's see. What do we got? What do we, oh, we got a whole lot of nothing. Okay, what did I do? I is not defined. Yes, this totally makes sense because it's IDX. Fake it till you make it. Yes. I knew someone was on my side. Thanks, Colin. Transform expected function. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it totally makes sense that, you know, I need to close off the bracket. In the right spot, even. Come on, big money. Okay, so all sorts of not showing something, but that's okay. So let's try a stroke, and let's go back to black, except actually spelt correctly, and stroke width. We'll set to like 1 pixel. That seems like a good setting. We'll see. Hey, cool. So now we've got like those little notches. So let's see. So this is like 30 and 40 in Y, but that seems kind of off considering there's like a, oh right, but 30 and 40's at the top. Alright, so in reality this could probably be like 20, 40, I don't know, probably 20, 30. Cool. I don't know, how do you guys like my clock so far? Looking pretty great, eh? Huh? Okay, and we need an hour hand. Yeah, so what's the hour hand gonna look like? We're gonna have another line, and an x1, which is going to start at 200, and a y1 again at 200. So it starts at the middle. Thanks, Colin. I knew someone would have my back. Yeah. Alright, so x2. Let's see, so this guy's probably it's gonna be shorter than the 40 marks. Let's go for like, oh sorry, this one is there, but then y2 is gonna be, yeah, like, I don't know, 40, because this one goes all the way down to 30, but maybe that makes sense that they go up the same height, because this one's gonna be the minute hand, perhaps. Seems like a very minute handy sort of thing. And we're going to have a transform on here, which is going to, this is going to do state.correctTime.hour. And that means that we need to set up a sane default. So I think we're going to start the time always at 12 o'clock. That seems like maybe the right thing to do. And that way we've always got a semi-sane time. And this guy is going to be a nice wide hand. So, yeah, let's see. Our main circle's like 5. This guy should be way thicker than that, so we're going to say 10. Cool. That looks like a very, very dominant hour hand. And our minute hand is going to look pretty similar, but obviously nowhere near as big. So let's say, I don't know, this guy's going to be like 100, and this is going to be minute times 360 divided by 60 this time. And we're going to have minute hand maybe red. And we're going to have this like 8 pixels. Maybe a little less. I guess we can do 5 for this one. And I'm totally messing up these hands, because this should be hour and this one should be minute. Proves how much I look at old school analog clocks these days. But no one caught it. I didn't see anything in the comments, so cool. However, now I do not see my minute hand. Okay, so this is, oh, well, this is probably an order thing, so yeah, that kind of makes sense. We want the hour hand underneath the minute hand. So that part's fine. But it was really just the using the ones with the correct length. Yeah, so that looks like pretty sane. Now, just for fun, we're gonna set this to 415, and we know what 415 should look like. Hey, cool! Everything works. Neato. Okay, so let's see. What do we gotta do to make this progress? Oh wow, it's already 6:40. Oh, I can totally do a game in an hour. We can do it. We can do it. I know we can. Okay, so we need something that's going to generate a random time. So we're going to create a new action this time. We're going to call it maybe generate time. That seems like a pretty good one. And we probably want to... Do we need anything from the previous? I don't think so. All this needs to do is do correct time is hour, which will be a math.random times 12. And we're going to have to probably math.floor it. That seems like the right thing to do with the correct time. And if I was better at Vim, maybe I would be faster. Math.floor, math.random times 59. In fact, this hour should be times 23. Alright, and apparently oh, I see. Yeah, it would help if I close my objects. Totally not a big deal. Cool. And yeah, so what if we just did something like on create did actions.generate time. So now every time this refreshes, it should give us a different time. So if I refresh the page again, cool. So yeah, that's pretty neat. And let's do a add to guess, which is going to take our input, and we're going to take our state as well this time. And what we want to do is look for something that's like, yeah, I guess we want guess input to be guess input, concat input. I'm pretty sure JavaScript string supports concat. Otherwise, we can use a plus. I guess maybe that's a little better, which might do some weird stuff if we have improper types. And that's why we need stuff like TypeScript, but I'm not doing that because I like to cling on to the old ways, and that's never good. Alright, so we got that. What do we need now? So we need a mechanism to let you guess the actual time. Okay, so let's do some stuff. Also, I guess when we generate some new time, we probably want to clear your guess input. And yeah, that's probably about that. We also want to update our accumulator. So we start off with 15 milliseconds, and we want something like, yeah, update accumulator. Accumulator is almost certainly a bad name. So we're going to have to fix that, I think. But yeah, so we're going to have a delta, because we're going to probably use request animation frame. That seems like the right thing to do. So we're going to do something like this. And we're going to have, well, we can just, well, maybe what we want is an update. I think just update. And we take in our delta, and that way we can update a variety of pieces of information at once. Which means that we're probably going to end up with a slightly bulkier function. That's going to return some stuff for us, and not have a comma at the end, but a semicolon. Cool. And let's see, so we've got accumulator. It's going to be state accumulator minus delta. Yes, that seems about right. Is there anything else that we want to deal with? Maybe that's it. which then kind of brings me back to, oh, wait. So what we want here is also a request animation frame, and we need to bring in our actions that are wired, and this will be just actions.update. And we basically want this to be if accumulator is greater or equal to 0, request a new animation frame, and otherwise we don't care. Well, actually, no, we still kind of care because we also want a cleanup. And what cleanup is going to do is track our last requested animation frame. So this will be, let's see, I don't like the name of handler, so I apologize. I'm just not sure if there's a better name to use off the top of my head. But we're going to use handler, and we're going to bring in handler as well, which the more I think about it, the more I hate it. It's just a really terrible name. But we're going to say if handler state.handler. So if we got it, then we probably want to do like, I think it's just cancel animation frame state.handler, and then we would want to return handler is null. And that way we can do a on destroy actions.cleanup. Cool. And let's see, how do we want to so we need to get input, so we need to set up handlers. So this is gonna we're gonna have a setup, which seems pretty reasonable. And we're gonna move this guy into there as well. So now we're just gonna have actions.setup. And part of setup is at some point we're gonna have to call generate time. Which means we'll need to take in actions here as well. And the way hyperapp is set up, this will actually be called after this particular update loop. So even though it's up top, it'll actually happen a little later. Let's see, so probably on setup we want to start off with initial state. So we're essentially cleaning our state up. Well, that's probably not the right thing. I think cleanup, maybe neither of them care about it too much. But on setup, is there anything that we do care about other than generate time? We probably want to clear our guess input. And the rest of that seems pretty sane so far. Yeah, just reading through what we got. So let's clean up this history. And we're gonna have to call update, so we can do something like when we set the view. Well, you know what? I guess on create would be doing that too. So then we could do actions.update, which is going to kick off our update loop, and this guy's going to keep going until we get 0, and we still need to set up a handler. So that's going to do our add to guess. So what if we did something like document dot yeah, I guess body dot add event listener, and we did key press. And let's see, we're gonna want to wire that somewhere, which I guess it could be add to guess. So what if we took E and did actions dot add to guess here, and I think for Firefox to be happy with that, we need to pass a false. Just got a vague recollection of that. And cleanup, we're going to want to do the opposite. So what if we did a remove event listener for key press? Cool. So that all looks pretty good to me. And just so we can see what's going on here, what if we added another div? Maybe we'll do a good old h1 instead of a div, because that seems like the right sort of thing to do. And did state accumulator. And this is going to do a real fast countdown, way faster than I anticipated. Wow, we had a delta of 2000. That seems wrong. Let me just double check. MDN request animation frame. Maybe what I think the delta is going to be is actually not at all what the delta is going to be, which I was pretty sure it was milliseconds, but you know, I've been known to be very wrong on occasion. Oh, you know what it is? It's just the time, so it doesn't care about the previous. So what we need is last update, which is going to be a date.now, since that'll also give us some milliseconds, which also means for do you want that in setup? Because that seems slightly wrong. Okay, so maybe there's a few things that are incorrect here that's going to be problematic. Is there though? Because well, we can shuffle a few things off, I think. In fact, we could have something here that is new game, which is going to do something like do return game as game dot initial state, and also view game. Seems like maybe the right thing to do. Alright, and then yes, we have our last time, which is date.now. That's probably wrong. Let's do null, and then we can say this is actually now, and delta is going to be state.last update. So if we have a last update, in fact, let's say if it's null, then our delta is going to be 0, and otherwise it's going to be state.last update, or sorry, now minus last update, and then over here we can do last update equals now, except not equals, we're in an object. Cool. Hey, that looks like it's doing the right thing now. Let's just make sure it dies at 0. Cool. For the most part it did. That's all that matters. In fact, we probably want something like see, time left, which is going to take in the accumulator and spit out something much nicer. Um, so let's see, this will be return math.max 0 or accumulator. And on top of that, we're probably going to want to add in some like fancier stuff. But you know, we still got got a lot to do and only 2 minutes to do it. Alright, and yeah, on top of that, I think we want to do like a math.round or something. Or maybe to fixed. Yeah, to fix. Let's do that. Cool. More sane to look at. And yeah, so when we gather our input, we're going to want to do some sane filtering. So what we can do initially is we're going to nuke this temporarily. And for some reason my computer's really struggling with doing this stream, so I apologize in advance. But we're going to do a console.log e. I think which is going to be something that we have available to us. So if I do A, B, okay, that one's not so much what I want, but I think we can make it work. So I think, let's see, mdn string. And I believe string has something that we can go from an ASCII code to a to string. So char code at charat. These all sound pretty close to what I want, but not quite. Oh, there we go. String from char code. Alright, let's see. Does that work? A, B, C, D. Cool. And on top of that, we probably want to valid keys. So we really want numbers 0 to 9. And also some colons. So that'll mostly, I think, take care of that. And let's see, we also want to have the input itself be validated a little better. So maybe instead of valid keys, we can do something like valid input, which is going to be yeah, so we're gonna have like questionably 1. Actually, this will be a sure, we'll do 1 to question, and then 0 to 9 colon 0 to 9. Actually, no, that'll be 0 to 5 and 0 to 9. Cool. Yeah, that seems like some valid input. Sure. All right. And yeah, so that'll for the most part do it, although I don't think that's going to fully work, because I basically want to have something progressive, which kind of sucks. That's okay. We'll go with this for now. and we can hone it down as we go. So if guess is going to be state.guess plus string.from charcode e.which, and if valid input oh no, I guess I gotta reverse that. Guess input matches regex. What is it? Just dot match? String dot match. Yes. All right. So refresh. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh yeah, I guess that would help. 259. Cool. So mostly works. Yeah. So I guess adding to guess, we need to do lots of logic here. And that's going to tell us whether or not we've done the time correctly, I think. So we want something that's if guess input dot match valid input. In fact, I think we can just from the regex see whether or not this passes or not instead of match. There we go. Dot test. Which then we end up going here again. Valid input dot test. So if it's valid, otherwise, else if guess input dot split colon 1 dot length is 2. Cool. So you were this is your guess. Your guess. Well, I guess here it's like, if it's valid, then that's your guess, and otherwise, I don't know what we do. Because it wasn't valid, and I think we want to say something like, This is interesting because I don't want to be able to backspace things, but I don't really want to do multiple guesses. So like if you mistype something, I want the game to just like keep going. So it's got to have like some intelligent ability to guess what's going on. So I guess we could do valid hour, which is going to be the first chunk of this. And valid minute. It's not too bad. Then we could just say no, I really hate. So far, everything that I'm coming up with, I don't like at all. Unless you could backspace, maybe hitting enter submits your guess, which seems like pretty sane to me. So if everything's valid, and what if we did like if e.which is greater or equal to, or I guess greater than 32, and e.which is less than, oh, ASCII table. Let's bring you up. Unfortunately, I did it on another window, so you guys can't see. We can do it. We can do it quick. Believe in me. So we want in between 48 and 58. Oh, that's nice and easy. So that gives us numbers 0 all the way up to 9, and then also a colon. So yeah, if we're within the range of that, then we want to do something like, which looks like we could maybe shorten that down a little bit to something like this. Which isn't too bad. So cool. If it's within this range, add to our guess. Otherwise, if I think we can do something like e.key is backspace. Then we could do guess input equals guess input dot slice 0 negative. I think -1 will get rid of the last character for us. We'll find out. In that case, I guess we want to maybe, we're going to get rid of some of this extra stuff because I don't know that we actually care about it anymore. We don't really care about that. Alright, so on top of that, maybe underneath our clock, we're going to have H1, which is going to be our guess input. Does the SVG actually like cover that? Let's see, so we got root, wrapping div, we got this, typing, and nothing seems to happen, which seems kind of wrong to me. Oh, I guess it would help if I was typing the right things. Yay, okay, cool. Yeah, so let's clean this up a little bit more. So I think in reality we want something like, yeah, you know what, let's bring that back for now. And so when we guess, we're hitting enter. So add to guess, so let's see, can I, so here, type a few numbers, hit backspace, that doesn't do anything, interesting. MDN, key press, backspace. So I think that's like which equals 8, but I was hoping that I could be more clever. And maybe I can't. Okay, let's just do that, because I know that works. Yeah, so 8 is the ASCII for backspace. And maybe this is actually working, and it needs a -2. Nope. So apparently, oh, you know why? It's because it's like delete. I don't actually have a backspace on a Mac, though it should. So key press. Let's see. So if I had see key names, Chrome OS X detect delete key on body. So it looks like this used to be the key binding for going back, which oh, so maybe I need key up instead of key press. That seems like maybe the right thing anyway. All right, we're changing it. Hey, cool. That works. However, key down might be the better one, only because I think we'll get repeated key down events when we hold down the key. Let me just confirm that. Cool, we do. And if I type something, okay, so I think the -2 is actually doing the wrong thing, which is exactly what I thought initially, so that's cool. And also we can go back to doing key, it's backspace. Yay! Okay, so that works, and now we need this to be a submit. So submit is going to do a few things for us, so we need to figure out if we were close to the time, and then also if we have time to do another thing. In fact, we need to say if state.accumulator is less than or equal to 0, then just return, because we cannot add to our guess after the time runs out. Also, apparently, my ASCII calculations were not correct, because apparently I cannot add a semicolon, which is definitely 58, which seems correct here. So let's just refresh this just to be sure. Yeah, that's totally not happening. So we're going to go back to that for a second and process a few times. So apparently on Mac it's 186, which doesn't seem right to me at all. But so 16, and if so, this is really puzzling. So that gets registered as the same key, and that doesn't seem right to me. Let's do JavaScript key down get colon. Unless I don't care about the colon, and we just write like 5 o'clock is 500 and whatever. That just seems like not the right thing to do. So let's do mdn key down event. So what do we get? We get a bunch of things. We get key, and we get code, and we get char code, which is deprecated. And we also get potentially char. Do we get, does char actually work? Because if so, I did a lot of extra stuff for no good reason. Nope, char does not work, at least in Chrome currently. Okay, so we got key. We also get a code, which I thought was deprecated, but apparently it's not. Okay, so let's see what that gives us. I get semicolon. Okay, so what if we do else if e.code? Is it e.code? Actually, it looks like key is actually giving us the right thing. Which seems kind of silly to me. But if that's the way we gotta write it, that's really bizarre though. But okay, so let's change that to 57 because e.which isn't giving me what I thought it was. So I thought that was ASCII, but it's only apparently sometimes ASCII. All right, cool. So that's gonna do the right thing. And when we hit enter, what we want to do is parse this into a time. So in this case, we're going to do like parser is going to be 1 to 2 and 0 to 9. That's going to be one thing, and the second thing is going to be 0 to 5 and 0 to 9. Cool, so if I did 12, 12 and press enter, it seems to give me mostly correct things. And if I did refresh this and did 10, 15, that seems to be very happy, giving me a 10 and 15. And if this didn't match, so if I refresh and just do 0, 0, I get a null. Alright, so cool. If not match, then score is going to equal 0. And otherwise, we're going to do something like hour equals match 1. And minute equals match 2. Oh, yeah, that would help. And we want to know the number of minutes that we're off by, so we could do minute offset is going to be hour times 60 plus minute. So we're going to say is going to be state.correct time.hour times 60 plus state correct time.minute. And score is going to be correct time minus minute offset. And we're going to do a math.max 0, so you can't get negative points. And yeah, so we're going to actually do an early return this way. Actually, maybe we can deal with this here. So let's score equals 0. And we're going to return something that looks like guess input is an empty string now. And score is going to be state dot history is going to equal state dot history cat, and we're going to toss in an object where we're going to have our correct time is state dot correct time, and then we're going to have our guess time, which is going to be our no, this is going to be guess input, because then we can always reassemble it later. And score is going to be exactly that. And then we can just say if match, then we update our score, otherwise we keep it 0 if everything went horribly wrong. And then we want something like, actually let's update our time just so I can be a little slow. So we're going to go up to 30 seconds, and we're going to show score is going to be, what's the best way to do this? State dot history reduce score hist score plus hist dot score, and we're going to start with a 0. Vim. Alright, cool. So let's see. So that looks like 923. Mampch. Yeah. Cool. So that looks like 1206. So we got a score of 0. So let's see what happened there. Oh, and I guess we also need to take into account maybe not the 24-hour clock. Let's do 12. And that way at least that's not going to be the problem. So that's like what, 308. Press enter and nothing seemed to happen, so that's interesting. So maybe we'll do something like console.log state.correct time and guess input and score. Alright, so that looks like 902. 9-2. That seems pretty sane to me. Oh, I see. So this we need to this is going to be a replace. So replace all leading zeros with an empty space and turn this into a number. guess we can hide this view. And this guy's got to be just a number as well. So that's 2:38. Yeah, so those look like they are the exact same time. Oh, I see. So what I want is 10 minus that. Okay, cool. So let's do, that looks like 12:43, but that still didn't give us anything. So that's also interesting. Mhm, mhm, mhm. So we definitely have a score. But the score is being recorded as 0. Also, I guess this should be really net offset guess time. Alright, so it looks like 12:05 on the mark. So the correct time was 0. Yeah, that makes sense. So let's change that. So in reality, this is 1 plus 11. Alright, cool. So this should be 4:42. Okay, so that should have been 10 minus 0. So let's try that again. That'd be 1:42-ish. Cool, 5 points. So on top of that, this should now do a actions.generate time. My system's going really slow now that I'm recording. So that kind of stinks, but cool. So that's 6:39 by the looks of it. But apparently I can't read a clock. So let's just make sure I wasn't crazy. 5:16. Cool, and that looks like 8:50, maybe 58. Cool. Oh, at a time. So cool, I ended up with 20 points for 30 seconds. Which, I don't know, maybe that's good. Cool, so we technically made the game there, and it's a little rough because I probably should have had more of it set up before the stream. But anyway, thanks for anyone that wanted to hang out through the whole thing. You are brave. It was fun. I will post this up on GitHub and I'll update the description with the correct link. And this was fun. So thanks everyone for joining. And that's all I got.